Welcome to Envision Radio from United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise and News Radio 98.9 and 1070 AM WINA. And brought to you by the Jefferson School Foundation with Markiana and Price coming to you in downtown Charlottesville. We're super excited to have Shawn Pendleton in the booth with us today.
Hello.
But excitingly, our next guest on Envision Radio.
And also, do we do disclosures? I don't know that it matters. He's my board chair, so he's technically my boss.
Oh, yes.
So there you
Get
go.
him.
That's exactly
get him
right.
again
It's
for
all on the record. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
We're taking this right back to the board.
That's right. I'm taking notes as we speak.
That's exactly right. All the secrets come out here. This is
You're bringing your boss, Price. I always say you the top don.
You kept telling me I didn't have a boss. I told you. I was trying to get my boss, my mother. You're trying these are the people, the only two people on earth wrangling me. I can't have them in the booth at the same time.
Now I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? A lot of insider information.
Yes, exactly.
Board meeting the other day is crazy.
Board meeting of the day. I like that.
How long are y'all board meetings? Y'all long boarders or hour?
Come on, you've known me long enough to know
we
that
do them 2 hours. That's why I asked.
2 hours?
It'd be long.
Yeah, about that. No,
Yeah.
we get it done. We get it done. We got a list. We keep it tight. If it takes an hour and a half, great. If it doesn't, we out.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
We really get stuff done. I do keep it tight.
Yeah, well, sure. And my thing too is I try to give them enough information in the downtime that we don't have to talk about everything in that meeting.
No,
right?
that makes complete sense.
You'll know what's going on.
We should be not giving 3 months of download. You just now heard
from
today
7 different people.
You didn't know we started 3 programs last month?
Yeah, how about that?
We did.
Right. That's right.
Thanks for
crazy.
Thanks for listening.
Crazy, right? And you're at the end of the program. You got to sit through the whole thing to give your 2-minute little 2-minute pitch.
You know I do. I'm like, well, there go my 2 minutes.
Yep.
Hope y'all liked it. Bye.
Yep.
And I drop off.
That was me in the city council budget review. I sat there for 2.5 hours for my 2-minute presentation.
I heard about that wait list, right? You had to just sit in line.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was like a queue at a New York deli. You just sit there and they were like number 18.
I have been in a New York deli and it was just like that.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, it's an interesting process. But thanks for jumping in. I know this is sort of an OG short notice kind of hey,
look,
what's happening?
I get a message the day before.
Yes.
That's how this
say, hey, what's up? I'm like, it's good. I need to be a radio show at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
In my defense, I told him last week, I was like,
you
Price,
did.
can you find somebody for it? He was like, yeah, well, I'm going to look around. I texted him on Monday.
I didn't look.
Hey, did you look around? Or maybe two. He said, oh, no, I didn't look around. I was like, okay, well, I guess.
Hey, at least I'm honest.
I was calling around. I was trying to call around too. I said, well, if I can't pull nobody, it'll be just us.
That's right.
But you did it.
I looked quickly. Rabbit out of the hat. And a good one, too.
Last man standing, I guess. I appreciate that.
No, here's the problem is that we've done, I think, 204 episodes, and I have to ask her, have we had these people on? Because we've gone through so many different people from so many different walks of Charlottesville. I forget. And we've double dipped on some folks, which is fine. But I was actually kind of surprised because all the people that I know we've had who I would text would have been like Ty and Q and those guys. I was like, we've definitely had them. And I didn't think of you because I was like, we've definitely had him. But then I was like, well.
When you said his name, I was like, I'm sure. But I looked just in case. I was going to say yes to you.
Right, see?
I almost said yes. But I was like, actually, let me just go check. Just don't make me look crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't see his name.
Somehow avoided conscription. Not anymore.
Right?
Not anymore. Nope.
Oh, man,
we got him.
Got me.
See, we got him. We've turned over all the rocks.
All the rocks.
Oh, no.
All the rocks. Yep.
Darn. Hey,
well, cool.
Birthday.
Today's my birthday.
Hey.
Oh, Price! Happy birthday!
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
had to say that. Absolutely.
Dang.
Yeah.
Couldn't let that get by.
Yeah.
You don't let him get by.
Not on crutches this year. It's better than last year's birthday already.
I know, right?
Hop along, Cassie.
It's terrible.
That's right.
Last year, really, you showed your age.
I aged
You showed your age.
multiple years last
You
year.
did it playing.
Yeah. Doing what every almost 40 years.
Feel as you.
Like, did you miss the ball or something?
That's
what happened?
Here's the problem. It wasn't even a good story. It's just like it's the same story that everybody tells you of look, your legs will go before your brain tells you it's time.
Okay.
Right? And so it was just the ignoring the warnings of Mother Nature being like, hey, I'm telling you. It's not, you can't do that anymore. And I know you think you can, but you can't, and that's okay.
I learned my lesson a long time ago. Yeah, I was training my daughter. She plays basketball. We're in the lot, and my brain's like, I can keep up with it. What's going to happen? My knees were like, no, thank you.
Truly.
No, you just sit back and you point in certain directions, but you're not, that lateral movement, no, sir.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. And it was funny that a friend of mine his kid was in my daughter's preschool class. We both roll up to the pickup line 2 days later. He had done his Achilles playing basketball. And we just had that. Our wives looked at each other like, see? Like, yo.
Have you played since?
I wasn't even playing then. That's the worst part. Is that like I had stopped playing. I had stopped playing for this reason. Like I don't want to get hurt. I'm transitioning into sort of whatever this next phase of being active is, running around with kids and da da da. And so a buddy of mine who was about to have a kid was like, "Hey." He's sort of the last of us to have kids, and he was like, "Hey, we're not going to get to play very much anymore." Sort of blah blah blah. It was a very nostalgic moment. I said, "Great. It's not." I'm not competitive like that anymore. I won't try very hard. It'll be fun. And that's the worst part. I was like in the pocket. I was not doing anything crazy.
You weren't like running hard.
And then I like went to change direction and
Price.
There it goes.
That's a terrible story.
There it goes.
You need to change.
That's what I said.
You need to say, I'm doing a spinning back kick.
That's right.
Behind the back.
There was a kid in a stroller in the middle of I-64.
He was just like, I didn't even have the ball. I was just running.
No, you
just
woke
up.
Woke up in the morning and said, Dad, I popped my knee.
I slept wrong and tore my ACL. Yeah. There was a child in the middle of the interstate, and I ran out and grabbed the stroller.
Better birthday than last year.
That's great.
2026 is the new year.
NCAA tournament starts. It's awesome. Yeah. It's the greatest day. Right? Mm-hmm. Weather's getting nice. We got basketball to watch.
March Madness.
Madness. Who you got winning?
Which the women's or men's?
Both.
For men's, I picked Duke. I don't know.
Ooh.
I know. I'm an ACC girl, and they beat UVA, so I thought it's like a situation where if I don't think UVA can win, I want somebody who beat us, so that if they weren't around, it could have been us.
If they weren't around, okay.
So that's how I do my math.
Okay, sure.
And then for women, I put UConn. It just feels like they've ran a sweep all year.
They have been really tough.
But people always talk about how their conference isn't as hard as the SEC is, right? Okay. But I don't think that matters. No. I actually last year when South Carolina played them in the finals for women's basketball, they tore them down. I thought it was going to be like, oh, Dawn, you in the finals. Y'all are really well matched. No, you guys, I know. I've been playing around all season. Yeah. We were actually just playing with them people. Yeah. We about to turn it up. We're going to show you what it is. We're about to play y'all like some little kids. Yeah. So I was like, I think the games they play, when they win by 20 all season for UConn women's basketball, it's like, oh, we're just playing around with kids. We're not really trying to school. Everybody's going to get to play on the bench. Gino's going to have his 7th-string point guard in there. Right. And people are like, oh, but just because you're playing people. No, they didn't keep all them starters. They starters is averaging 20 minutes. Like, oh, they about to turn it up on you. Yeah. And I don't think you can get past that fact. And so I put, because I'm not a crazy person, I put UConn. And then in a fantasy where I put UVA just for fun.
There you go. We can get hot. Tonight at 9:30, I think.
Yeah, they play today.
Yeah. What about you? What's your prediction here?
For the
men.
For the men, no, I'm my heart wants to go with UVA, right? Because it's such a close game.
Yeah,
Duke, right? I mean, it was down to the wire.
Well, yes, I'm so annoyed.
We got to make our free throws. Yeah. That's my,
I mean, the free throws.
They threw it away at the end.
That did. That was in their reach. And then Duke, I do have is the winning it for the women. The thing about UConn is that they win by so much that then they don't have to go through the stress and body deterioration that goes through regular season.
That's true. That's
true. Their average minutes are low.
They're going to be super fresh. Yeah, so strong.
Yeah, she's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah. And Ozzy, this is crazy.
Fudd. I mean, it's going to be a tough one. So it's going to be exciting. Texas is great.
I think Texas is really good too.
South Carolina's great. UCLA. Yeah. Oh, it's going to Lauren Betts. I mean, it's going to be good. Yeah, the women's. It's lit.
I've not watched UCLA all this season, so I don't know what they got going on.
Those 10:30 tip-offs are tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, listen, for folks who aren't familiar with you or don't, know what you're up to, let's start. We always start with a sort of brief biography, and then it becomes very unpredictable for the next 45 minutes. Okay. Oh, and by the way, we're already to our first, or do we call them ad breaks?
Yeah.
If they're ad breaks, we tell people that welcome to Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville, City of Promise. What is it? 1070 AM WINA 98.9 1070 AM WINA. That's the one. And big thanks to our friend and our sponsor, the Jefferson School Foundation. That's jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. So you tell us a little bit give us the backstory.
Yeah. So born and raised right here in Charlottesville. Grew up through public school system, Stowe Robinson Elementary, Burley Middle School, Albemarle High School. So my day job is in finance. I'm senior vice president for a major investment firm, Stifel, and I'm also chairman of the board for City of Promise. Mm-hmm. So
that's how they know each other.
That's it. Yeah, I know him a little bit. He's all right. He's all right.
Charlotte's small.
Charlotte's so small.
That's right.
The Albemarle High School expat group.
Are all those schools still the same names? I know they're going through a lot of name changes. Is all those still the same?
I think where I'm
also, we're not changing nothing.
One of the elementary schools and middle schools in the Hollymead area, Forest Lakes, they changed their name. Sutherland is now a different name. Forgot the name of it.
Yeah, they went to Lakeside.
Okay, I think I've heard of Lakeside.
Sutherland and Jewett.
Oh.
Right.
And you talk about growing up. So you're in the county in the Stone Robinson, and so just talk. I mean, what was growing up in town like, and tell us a little bit about what was going on.
It was a lot less traffic. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It was a lot.
Yeah, we didn't have no Target.
We didn't have no Target. We had a Kmart.
That's right.
See,
I remember Kmart.
Remember Kmart?
You remember Kmart?
Yeah, my mom from Almar. She grew up in Almar.
Yeah, you remember the Kmart?
Yeah, I do remember Kmart. And there's a Gold's Gym, right?
Yeah, well, that's where it was right there.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a Woolworths.
There's a Little Caesars in there too.
There's a Best. There's a Best where ACAC used to be.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, there used to be a movie theater next to the Kmart.
Yep.
To the right. There used to be a car wash right in front of it. Yeah. So just more laid back, less developed, but still chill. Just relax.
Now it's a Jump Seaville.
Now it's like,
is it really?
No, it's not Jump. Well, it's a jump. It's a trampoline park, but it's not called Jump Seaville
They
anymore.
got a mini. I think they broke. There's like a mini Funland coming type.
I saw this.
Didn't we already have like an arcade behind?
Adventureland.
Oh, where Volvo is?
Right.
Across from where the
that used to be.
SPCA is.
Now it's a spa. Now it's
a
some
spa
sort of
now, okay.
I remember they used to have the go-kart track.
Yes, they used to. So my parents used to take me there when I was growing up.
Had a little arcade shop.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't a Funland though, was it?
It was called Adventureland.
Adventureland.
Yes.
I remember the land, but I was like, I just thought it was Funland.
Yep.
Apparently, this new place is going to be sort of like what's in Lynchburg. Fredericksburg. It's like a big, It's supposed to be pretty big. It's in the old Big Lots building.
Finally, they're doing something with that.
Doing something. So
they killed that shopping center.
It was gone.
But they just now built that bridge to bring it back. The little pedestrian bridge across a 6-lane highway.
Yes.
That's really gonna pick up economics over there.
If you build it, they will come. Right?
That's true.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
Have you seen anyone walk across that?
Not even one person. But again, I don't come down that far. I don't go that far at 29 towards UVA. I usually cut through the Parkway to get to downtown.
Okay.
Hey, maybe you have
Not on
a
250.
huge hankering for Burger King.
Yes. I was trying to think what's over. I was trying to think what's over there.
Yeah, there's
Big Lots used to be over there.
Big Lots.
Party City used to be over there.
It's supposed to be more like apartment complexes.
Oh.
So I think it's more just to get people who are, once they build up the residential space, they're going to be able to walk, kind of like what's that Stonefield and the backside of it. So I think it's just going to be,
okay.
which makes sense because the walkable neighborhoods are what's very popular right now. So we'll see, but that's a lot. What's that, $22 million for that? So
for the bridge?
I'm sure. Yeah, so part of a package though. I don't think it was just the bridge, but it was. Yeah, but hey.
I have not seen nobody walk. Have you? Have y'all?
No, but to be fair, I'm only coming down there at like 8 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't ever come
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what high time to go from Maharaja to El Bean would be.
I just want to see. I'm about to park behind Burton's.
Okay.
And walk right across and see how I feel about it.
You can go to get some dumplings on the other side.
I'll go to that. I love that place.
So have you been to Seoul? That restaurant is.
The Korean place, the Korean barbecue place.
Ooh, yeah.
I have not.
My favorite Korean barbecue place is Bulpin, which is in the Stonefield.
You can come compare and contrast.
I have compared it. I've done both, and I have compared and contrasted.
Yeah, that is good. So as you came through, so you grew up in town, and did you? And just talk. This is you're part of a group of folks who, again, we give her some stick because she's from Orange, and I don't know that we don't count that. Because we're very rigorous about our criteria.
Blue Ridge Mountains.
I tell you, the planning district. But I mean, talk about just sort of being, a professional in a town that you grew up in, and is that, I love to ask people, like, do you find that was harder or easier, right? Were you always sort of fighting against people who knew you when you were a kid and having to rebrand, or did you find it as like an easier way to integrate into sort of professional life?
So it was more of an evolution because I'm in finance now, but when I started my career, it wasn't it. I was in technology. I was actually 16 when I started a small business that was kind of installing car stereos for
entrepreneur.
friends. So I used to install car stereos because I couldn't afford one myself. Back in the day, I stole my parents' house speakers, right? Yeah. Wired up an amp to it, and that was my subwoofer because I had to bump, right?
Well, millennials are deaf because we were like,
right? I rigged it. I had a house speaker in my trunk, so I had to figure out a way to form my own subwoofer. So it was a necessity, right? So I started my small business installing friends' car stereos, and from then that evolved. So the parents of the friends who had car stereos asked me, do you do televisions? And at the time, the TVs were getting thinner, and I had never done it before. But of course, I said yes.
Televisions in the house or in the car?
Like televisions and home theaters. So
wow.
I started moving to interior as well and doing car stereos. And at the time, that was, pretty successful. I was actually able to, along with a full-time job I had for benefits, I was able to buy my first house when I was 19. So
I wish I had bought a house when I was 19.
Yeah, that started because I just didn't want to pay somebody else's rent, right? So that started the journey of just, finding and doing stuff on your own.
Yeah.
So fast forward from then, I had one of my good friends now who actually is in finance become one of my better clients that actually recruited me into finance. Through my career, because my business that I had that I was self-employed with got bought out by a local bigger company, Crutchfield. So
yeah, I was going to say, this reminded me of Crutchfield. I was like, Crutchfield was over there. My uncle used to work there.
So they didn't really buy me out, but they just saw that I was doing so well and buying equipment from them so much, they said, why don't you just work for me?
Right.
So then I kind of shut down my business. I worked for them for about 13 years, and during that time, I amassed a pretty great client following because of my client service and the way I treat people. And my senior partner now was one of my clients. So he said, what are you doing in finance? What are you doing in car stereo? And I was like, that's what I did. Right. But then when I started getting into the space where I needed to just go do something different, he said, come see me. And he recruited me in, got all the tests. I started my first year out in finance, and thankfully, a lot of my clients who trusted me when I was in technology actually opened accounts with me at my finance world. So that's what kicked off my career there. And fast forward 13 years later, here I am now. So it was
like,
great.
if you can put in a stereo, you can hold my account.
Yeah. And the thing is,
I think that's pretty parallel.
They trusted advice, right?
Yeah.
Because once people started trusting the fact that what I gave them was honest advice, high quality advice, and being that those clients typically had more resources, especially with the larger home theaters, and they just started navigating towards me. So that's it. So really, the transition was a little easier because it wasn't really about the product, it was about the person. So I built a brand of trust to begin with, and I think that's what led to people navigating towards me. And I also have a way of just, breaking down complex, scenarios into digestible pieces. And I think people appreciated that too, and that was a way to help boost my business. So yeah, it was good. It was good.
What are the differences that you've seen between tech and finance? How was that transition? Yeah,
really, it was mainly finance world is both dynamic. Things are always moving, things are always changing, but it was just a way for me to just teach clients about the product that really helped them. So it wasn't really about the technology or the stock or the bond. It was about how they trusted my advice and how the information I gave them helped them in their situation. So it was cool. It was cool.
I used to go in there as a kid and sit in the little movie rooms. My uncle, like I said, his name is Derek Burton. He used to work there for a long time.
No, yeah.
Yes.
Small world.
Exactly. So I was like, he was there for a long time. He's really into speakers and sound systems still. He's like, I still need the best. He goes and looks at so many reviews for his speakers at his house these days. He's not even in the business anymore, but he's like, it sticks with you.
Once you catch that bug, it's tough. It's like a hobby.
Records. He has like headphones and like a whole system with
I still have people calling me. You say, I know you're not doing this, but I need help. I just bought this. I need some questions about it. It doesn't go away, But once you catch that bug, it's fun. It's fun.
So what was the training like? To do what is a very serious and intricate job, right? And one that you had sort of no formal pedagogical training. And I mean, it's an interesting story, right? It is. I think it's in an era where we feel like we talk about this a lot, and I have this conversation with my parents and people all the time about sort of higher education and how we think about what we earn from it. Is it actual knowledge? Is it a credential? Is it I went to William & Mary, which is sort of very theoretical. It's like we want to, in this very kind of lefty liberal arts, we want to teach people how to think and how to interpret and analyze information. But I think it's interesting in that there are some professions where, like, I want you to have gone to school. I want my doctor to
have gone to school.
I want my dentist to have gone to dental school. But, you're kind of a story of someone who's very successful at a very complicated job who didn't go through the business school route.
Yeah.
Right? I went to business school. I'm not even using it.
Don't talk to me either.
Yeah. Now I do, I'm a chartered financial consultant, which is a 3-year program. It took a while to get through it, but people truly want life experience. They want someone who can help them navigate through situations that you just can't get in theory. You have to go through, kids going through college. You got to go through, getting married. You got to go through these things in order to create quality advice. And with my nature, even from a young child, I had a sagacious nature where I had to know how things worked. I had to be the functional expert in everything. So it was not from an educational standpoint. I didn't have to wait for somebody to teach me. I wanted to know, so I found an avenue or a way to get the knowledge I needed. So I was voracious in my learning. So I think that's what helped me as well. I was actually the client of my senior partner for about 8 years before I got into finance. And I think his every time we had a meeting and I would ask him questions, and the next time I come back, he'd never have to repeat the same thing to me because I know it. I think that's what said, okay, this guy, he needs to change. He needs to get someplace where he can really blossom. So I think that was the main thing is just the quest for knowledge is huge. Yeah. And I think as long as you have that and you have a passion for serving, and I think that's what people gravitate towards. That's also why I lean towards the nonprofit work and, working with great people like you, right? Yeah. Because once you get to a certain level, you don't want to gatekeep. You want to make sure that you have that knowledge available to others to teach them how to get to a different situation from where they're currently at. And that's kind of where that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. I just want to be able to give back.
Was there pushback in your sort of hiring where people are like, this guy doesn't have an accounting degree, doesn't have a finance degree, didn't go to school.
I seriously credit my senior partner who actually went to bat for me.
Yeah, sure.
It's a public company.
Sure.
They're corporate. It's corporate. And so when I'm going through the interview process, I couldn't even get to the interview process without being vetted.
Sure.
Right? So I had to go through some pre-tests in order to even prove that I had the knowledge base to actually even step in the door. But once I got the opportunity to have the actual interview, it was a wrap after that.
Some people are so good at interviews. Like I always said when I used to grow up, I was like,
I feel like you.
I used to be like, if I get an interview, I don't know what the resume say.
Yeah.
I can interview. I can spin anything. I'm really good with on the spot questions.
Put me in front of a crowd.
I can build a story. I can build a narrative. I don't know about my credentials ain't always been there until I had my little college degree, and then that was something.
Sure,
but I was like, if you give me an interview, I can do anything.
So once I got in the door, once I actually had the interview, once they actually gave me a chance, then they realized that, okay, we got the right one here. I even had that same person when we went to our annual conference. I met him in person. He said, I was wrong at first.
I was going to say no.
And I was going to say no, but you proved me wrong. And thank you, and well done.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool when you get, and then every year I went back, I just got to meet more and more people, and they realized that, I became an asset for branching out and expanding the horizons of what they thought, talent could be. So, yeah.
If you're just hopping in, it's Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville, City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price here with Marky and Shawn Pendleton here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Big thanks to our friends, to our sponsors, Jefferson School Foundation, jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. How did you feel in that process? I mean, you have to know at some point the likely other candidates are whoever they are, sort of business school people or MBAs or whatever, people who did the thing the sort of the more traditional way. Did you know? Did you care? Did that really?
I don't know. I always I don't even know if it's overconfidence or what. But
what's for you is for you.
In my mind, I don't have a reason why you shouldn't choose me to do business with me. Yeah. It's just like I guess it was my mom. She was probably the best salesman in the world because she truly sold me on the fact that I could be whatever I wanted to be. Yeah. Whatever. It didn't matter. She'd always bring up like little things. Like when I was a kid, if I had a huge puzzle that was for like people 10 years older than me and I put it together, she said, you remember that? Or, just things to help me, make me feel like I could be anything. So I actually, that's the part that I think I want to help people the most is it's in the mind that you can't do something. A defeated mindset is what really can limit you from your goals. And as long as you can eliminate that defeatist mindset, and really, if you want something, there's no reason why you can't get it. It's just time and opportunity, and you just got to make your own time and do it, right? And the one thing we don't get back is time.
Right.
You know why? We do. We a lot of us, we fear death, but we waste time.
It's finite.
Yeah. So just don't do it. Just if you have a goal, achieve it, work hard at it, and try to get it. So that was me. So at the time, it didn't really matter to me who I was going up against, because you're right. There's people with MBAs. There's people with doctorates. There's people with finance degrees that get into my industry,
right,
and they still not successful because they can't communicate effectively what their goals are, right? And if you can't get a person to understand what your goals and what your objectives are for them, they're going to walk away from you.
Sure.
So that's where I think my success is being able to communicate effectively with people.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Are you like that? How do you feel about that?
About communication, or
no,
about
no. Just about, do you ever feel like in places where you are either asked to be an expert or perceived as an expert, but the other people there have either a different credential or a seemingly better credential? Does that bother you?
I don't think people's credentials bother me. I think I do have a similar mindset. I also think my mama told me I could be anything I wanted to be. I'm also super confident, and I don't think I ever think about what other people are doing, because I think that I'm doing it better than you. I don't know what to say. Like I also think one thing about me is that, and you were talking about, I was like, I'm a self-starter and I'm a fast learner.
Yeah.
I taught myself almost everything I know at the end. They used to be like, oh, do you know how to do this data stuff? Never did data entry and data analysis in my life. I was on YouTube building reports.
Right. There's a way.
SQL.
I mean, with all the technology available to you,
especially now,
so
truly.
Much
I teach myself a lot of stuff
to get the information you need. It's just at your fingertips. You just gotta type a few keys. You don't have to type anymore. You can just ask the question and you'll get the answer.
People be asking me to do stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that. But you asked me, so I'll go learn. And I come back. I can't believe you know how to do that. I just taught myself. I didn't know how to do it. So I'm like, because I'm a fast learner, I'm like, anything anybody could throw at me, I don't think it's going to be a problem. They're just a wealth of information. Could that information be untrue? Sure. But every time I've tried to build something, pivot tables, data entry, data analysis, reporting, SQL, coding, I'm like, okay, well, I learned. So and I think my job knows that. Like, they give me lots of stuff that I ain't never done before.
Right. And another thing too that builds that rapport and builds that trust is that, like we said, if you don't know something, you don't have to act like you know it.
Yeah, just go learn.
You go learn it, and then that's how you build trust as well, because you once you get the information, you can. But there's so many people you can ask questions to. Right. Use your resources. And another thing I do is I always challenge my mindset. Like, what's the old phrase? Don't always believe what you think, right? Because sometimes that can lead you in a direction that's more bias related versus truthful. So, just the quest for truth and knowledge that can answer questions in a factual way without playing a lot of spin and bias on it, I found is very effective. Because the internet can take you down rabbit holes. I mean, seriously, you can. This algorithm's designed right so that as soon as you start scrolling and it finds something that you're niche, that you have a fear
and it knows how long you looked at a page for seconds
you look at it, you're automatically going to start getting fed things.
Yes, I hate that.
Gravitate you to, and then you're like, when things repeat over and over, it becomes truth in your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So that's where I'm like, no, that's why I stay away from it. I kind of, I evolve, right? Because if we stick to a principle that's not value related, then you're going to automatically not be the person that you want to be. So I always stick to my core values, but I evolve based on the current situation. So
And what I found is that a lot of people actually, like, when they face a problem that they feel like they can't get over, they're not trying to go and look for solutions.
No.
The one thing that I say in every interview that I've ever had is that what is your main talent? Creative problem solving. Like, I say that to everybody. I'm like, I like when we have a problem so we can fix it. Like, I'm workshopping. I love to workshop. How do we fix this? How do we go about this? And so I think that's been super helpful as well. And I don't think everybody has that, like, once no, something's wrong. Okay, well, we need to get to fixing it. Yep. I'm actually not coming. Every time I've had a problem, I come to my boss with the solution. I'm like, oops, I know this. I know this thing got messed up. Oops, I apologize for that. But you don't got to be mad for long. Here's a solution I found before I even brought it to you, because I'm not bringing people problems without solutions. Right. And I think a lot of people do that.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, we didn't do this thing right. We sent these emails wrong. Okay, well, let's fix it. Like, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So, no, I've never been worried about nobody with credentials. Because, again, as you say, I think life experience is so important. Okay, you got a doctorate. But I was out back running with the kids, and the kids need services. I don't know. I just think that's more important sometimes, not to a doctor, because a doctor needs his degree.
Yep. I need you to have gone to med school.
I
would like you to have.
But every other profession is...
I mean, there's definitely... And those credentials also help, because I have extremely brilliant staff and team that help make me look good. So I need, like, my analysts, my economists. You know, there's people in the background that can crunch numbers and give me information that I can then use to better what I do. So, but, you know, with what I do is more facing the public, right? And that's not more of a numbers crunchers thing. That's more of a understanding the numbers, but breaking it down in a way that's easy to understand. And that's the talent I have. But I do appreciate those who have, you know, the backing understanding of that stuff, but it's what I do is not for everybody, right? And there's angles and lanes for people who have that skill set.
And I think skills, I believe in the idea of transferable skills. I think a lot of jobs are learned on the job. Doesn't matter if, you know, you have a degree or whatever the case may be. You still don't really know the processes at that place. I just feel like you have to do the job to know how to do it and learn it on the job. So I think most jobs, for me, in my opinion, except for doctor, are learning on the job.
Yeah.
I think you can do any job you put your mind to it.
Yeah,
except doctor.
It's just there's a lot of there's some.
Don't operate on me.
I want my bridge to stay up. Right?
Yes,
I want my building not to sway.
Yeah,
right. I want my roads to not be. So there are some truly, you know, there's where you have to have a skill set and get a distinct training in it. But you're right. There are things where you can kind of have a knowledge base, but then kind of learn as you go. But yeah, I don't want my building to tip over. No, I need engineers to be
like they do in schools when they build those popsicle bridges.
Yes.
And them things be on the floor.
Yeah, drop an egg off the parking garage.
That's
right. That's
exactly right. Lands soft, you hire.
That's right.
I don't think I've ever gotten past the first round.
Oh,
they start getting to the top of them steps. I'm like,
you remember those little cars you used to have to slide down the hill? Or they used to have these little wooden blocks.
You talking about like the boxcar derby kind of thing? Pine car derby is what it is.
Derby. So it was a piece of wood, you carve it.
Block, build a car. You would kind of cut the car to
like
make
shape
it aerodynamically.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get
the way
concept.
You think it would come through, slip through the air.
Yep.
So yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is dating y'all.
Oh yeah,
that is. Hey.
Before cell phones. See,
a pocket knife cutting y'all pine box.
I remember Woolworth, so you don't remember that.
Yeah.
See?
You remember Circuit City?
Yes, my mom worked in Circuit City.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a generation of folks of which I was sort of at the end of where like whittling was a thing. There's a lot of like knives and sticks, like a lot of knife and stick related.
It's giving Boy Scouts. Like.
Yeah. The toys were much more dangerous.
It's
like
the shop teacher with a missing finger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like a lot of the stuff now that, you know, it's funny having younger kids because a lot of the things that like my parents bring my kids were things that were sort of the FDA outlawed in like the mid 90s. Right.
I went to a convention.
Where did you get those toys from? Like they're not.
Yeah, I went to a conference in Richmond. I forgot what it was, but it had like an old toys section and toys that had been recalled.
Sure, lawn darts and all kind of other stuff.
So one of them was the moon shoes. I don't know how it works, but there's trampolines on your feet, and that one had been recalled. It was a lot of recalls. I was like, y'all really were playing dangerous. There was like another one too.
No, it was those playgrounds with something.
Easy bake oven has been recalled. Sure. I had an easy bake oven.
Lit a lot of stuff on fire.
Y'all wanted kids to cook.
Yes.
Radioactive.
With also like a 20-watt light bulb though.
You want them to eat raw dough.
That's what it was.
That was like, you modify that bowl. Right?
Yes, no.
Yeah,
a little flame on there.
Yeah. A lot of salmonella in the early 90s. Yeah, people just eating uncooked eggs.
Y'all was whittling cars with knives.
Yep. Oh, yeah, sure. Pocket knives were a whole...
That was great. Riding bikes and... who rides bikes now?
No, I don't see no bike rider.
It was dark. Didn't have to... I mean, it was wonderful.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
There is a narrative that they was letting y'all run around the streets all day.
Oh, it was great.
Of course.
Because there was no killers, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not even... We didn't know about them. It was a 24-hour
Not in our neighborhood.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, there is some of that information asymmetry where I was reading something the other day about that were like, someone was making the case that like anytime something happens to a child is terrible, obviously. Right. But it's the likelihood is so small, but it's so over amplified, right? So they're like the likelihood of, because it was a story coming out of this, there was some documentary about like sort of the culture in Japan is much more child friendly in a way that like kids will just send their 5-year-olds to the store.
I've seen that show. They got a show. They send a little baby 5 years old to the grocery store.
With like a note.
Yeah. They down the street. They send them, and then people be like, "You need a little eggs? We put the eggs in the basket," and they walk. By themselves, but they got the camera crew, so it's not real.
Well, there is sort of an element of that, but like it's just one of the. But anyways, she was basically making the point that like it's more likely like you'll get hit by lightning twice.
Yeah, maybe kidnapped.
Yeah. I mean, I do that.
That's crazy.
I do a lot of that.
Right.
I talk about possibility and probability.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Because really anything's possible.
True.
But is it probable?
Yeah.
Is
That's
it
actually a really good
likely
point
to happen?
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. That the probability gets mixed in with possibility, and it creates that fear and that anxiety that it happened to so and so, 5 states away, 300 million people are in the U.S. And if it happens to one person, you see it on the news. It's gonna happen to
you. It's sensationalism.
Well, think about it like this. There's 2 other crazy ones that always get me. Is that obviously like air travel is much safer than driving statistically, which I think everyone knows. Did you know that you're like 6 times more likely to be killed by a cow than a shark?
Than a what?
Shark. Cows are much more dangerous to humans than sharks are.
I didn't hear the first animal.
Right?
Cows than sharks.
Like that's a thing that I kind of like.
Okay, because you're okay. Right, you're not saying a shark.
But again, who would be like, I'm more afraid of cows? People aren't afraid of cows.
I mean, think about it. Jaws sounds more scary than.
There's no cow-related, the cow killing movie, right?
Look out, the heifer's gonna get you.
Right. But that's interesting. Right? You go to the beach and we're like, like Shark Week, and everyone's like,
one shark attack a year will keep you off the beach.
Right.
But 2,000 cow maulings
will
not keep you and your kid from the farm.
I don't get the news story about the cow attacks.
Yeah.
Where are those?
Right.
Well, just like
where's the cow reporter?
It's all the big stories. Like, remember the one that a tainted Halloween candy, and then they found out it was actually one of the family members who had like drugged the child.
They were like putting fentanyl
They were
in
putting
candy or something
the drug in the candy. But it became a huge story, and for years and years, like decades, people still, of course, check their children's candy.
Oh,
but it was because of this sensationalized story that the candy in this neighborhood is poisonous. You have to check all your people's candy. But they found out it was a family member, and most of the time it is a family member who are committing the crimes against minors.
I do remember seeing one that was like, there's drugs in the candy, and someone was like, there is no drug dealer on earth that's giving
away candy to kids.
See, that was my.
People do that.
I called it the daddy tax, right? That was my reward. Like when we have Halloween.
Yes,
I gotta make sure your candy.
Let me take your candy. Make sure there are no pinholes in it.
But for every 10 pieces I clean, I gotta get one of them, right?
Absolutely.
That's my yes.
Absolutely. If you are just joining us, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville, City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WNA. Price Markey here with Shawn Pendleton. Big thanks to our friends, our sponsors, Jefferson School Foundation, that has joined us. Shaping Tomorrow, honoring our rich history, creating opportunities, jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. They just had their little event too, by the way. Not little event, it was a great event for the Reclaim Recast.
Yes, I did hear about that.
At the over the weekend was really cool. The artists were there. It was a whole unveiling.
But
is
it a art? Is it an installation of them talk like? Is there a way for us to go see what the proposals are still?
So the event was the artists talking about like the process, and so they brought the artists down, and so it was a little bit of a retelling of the history of how we got to here, and then the artists spoke about the art and how they thought about what they were doing and the visualization, and it was cool, and it made me fully aware that I don't understand art at all.
No, I'm excited.
I was like, wow, this is
excited because I read the write-up about the 3 organizations that gotten chosen, teams. Yeah. I'm just excited to see what they building.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm just
really thoughtful down to the nth degree too. Right, like every detail, it was meant
carving.
something. Yeah. Very intentional. It was cool. Yeah,
I did hear about that. I didn't go, but I did hear about it.
No, I know you didn't go because I was there.
Oh,
hey!
He's such a community man.
Yes.
Write that down for his review.
Oh, nice.
Goes to community events, not directly tied.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's
we
right.
out here.
That's right.
No, shout out to them. They were great, and Paige and Andrew and the team is it's really cool. So talk about that for you though. I mean, how did you evolve into a lot of your community work? Was that something that was that a family thing? Was it someone push you there? Did you just sort of like, kind of like I did stumble into it?
It was more of a stumble because I was still in my early career building my practice, and it was Sarad Davenport.
He get everybody on a board. Oh my God!
And at the time, I didn't really have time for a board role, but at the time, City of Promise was just an idea. It was Promise Neighborhoods. He had come up with an idea for Charlottesville. It was Kristen Sakis. And we would meet at Pearl Island, where the little restaurant is, right near the Jefferson, right in the Jefferson School, right? So we were there brainstorming. It was just a steering committee at the time. We didn't have 708 Page Street. We didn't have Price Thomas, and so they formulated it. I was part of the steering committee for a while, and then when Price stepped away and Denise took over, and then from Denise to Mary, I just kind of tagged along the way, and in doing that, I started learning more and more about the needs of the community. Right, so I started branching out to more nonprofits. I had been with CIC, Community Investment Collaborative.
Yeah, so Taryn though.
Yep, and I'd been with Piedmont Housing Alliance on their board, and just learning more and more and realizing there's a need in this community. Right, so that's where it really kind of hooked me in to kind of make sure that whatever resources I have can be available to others, because I know in my humble means growing up. I was in the public system. I had food stamps back when they were called food stamps. See, the cards are a little different. I had it looks like a little tab. You rip it, and it actually was just a voucher. So you would have to go to the grocery store, and my mom would whip out these vouchers, and you talk about a stigma that creates that makes you want to be like, you look around like, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have food, right? So yeah, growing through the system, having Medicaid it stuck with me, and I know that that's a difficult situation, and it can lead to hopelessness, like you're never going to get out of it. So that's where I wanted to be a resource and be a mentor and provide advice to people who want to get out of their situation. So when at the time it was Mary Coleman who was the director for City of Promise, asked me to be on the board there. Jumped at it, and then once Price took over, and I'm glad he did. Price, hey, what? You all right? You know that?
Thank you.
You're doing
it's public. That's recorded.
His head is so big in the studio.
Recorded. This guy here, once we went through the hiring process, he kind of just stood out to us, right? He did. I'm gonna talk to him. He's not hearing me right now, so it's all good. But he's been great.
And you took him from us.
Yep.
I did. That's all right. Well, it was a perfect storm of.
It was a perfect storm.
An opportunity that people ask this, and I say this all the time, is like there's so much luck and timing that goes into like a thing like that, right?
Yeah.
And and that's sort of what I realized as I was going through the process of saying no and not really thinking. To y'all's two's point, I had sort of the opposite response. I was like, I can't do that, right? Because I'd never, I had spent the majority of my career in places where I was sort of unencumbered by a lot of the complexities that come with running an organization, right? I was a department of one at the United Way with relative carte blanche to sort of do the thing. We made a mural, we wrote stuff, we did, but I could just kind of do whatever I wanted. Right, and I had no one really to report to in sort of the traditional sense, right? And Ravi and Caroline and I worked a lot together, but I also had no one relying on me to do stuff. I could just do the job. Like I could just do, Like I could just
be like, come on, people were gonna get paid even if you did your job or not.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna take 2 months and figure out how to put a mural downtown, and I could just do that, right? And so I remember, just being like, there's too many different things to know, to keep up with, and to sort of figure out. And that was, I think, the first year I found myself really being like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
Exactly.
But I think what's really interesting is exactly that, is that I don't know what would have made it better. Like, I don't know that there was any more preparation that would have made me feel better about that other than having done it. Like, I feel like if someone said, hey, can you run this thing? I'd be like, okay, I feel slightly more comfortable in that.
Yep.
But again, I thought about that a lot, that I was like, I don't know that I could have taken the class or read the book or had any type of thing other than just getting in the middle of it and being like, I got to start trying to figure it out.
Exactly. And I think that's what that we gravitate towards, because you brought a freshness to the table that was sort of giving ideas that just wasn't proposed before. You know, we can go through the normal nonprofit process, but you know, you did a great job of just exposing the true issues and the inequities that need to be resolved, and that stirred things up a little bit, right? But it was for good.
But I think it's because you weren't coming from another CEO. Going to a CEO to CEO, you're going to do things traditionally how CEOs do them. But since you had never been in that position, you were open to be like, oh, well, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. So maybe we can do it this way. You were
what was broken.
The new parts.
And we talked about that a lot when we were working together. It's like there is some, I think, huge benefit to what might reasonably be called like naivete.
Yeah,
like I didn't know what was supposed to happen. So I was like, well, why don't we do this?
I don't know how this is supposed to turn out, but this is the way I would do it.
Yeah, like I don't. What if
y'all didn't have no process currently in place?
Like, yeah. I don't know if it's that as much as just like stupidity, but maybe there's a thin line between the two of them.
It's called unconscious incompetence.
That's exactly right.
That is
That's exactly
the word
right.
for it, right?
I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know what you don't know, so you're just gonna say, "I'm gonna make this work."
I never thought that it couldn't work because I was not smart enough to see around the corner.
That's right.
But it is. I mean, it's interesting, and I think in the work that certainly we're doing, that you got, you know, I've said this a lot, and I keep saying it. If there was a solution, someone would have found it, right? If there was a way to make it work, smarter people than me have tried or trying, it would have worked, and we could just do that, you know? So I think about that a lot, that there are certain sort of businesses or you know, kind of work where people know what works. People know how to do knee surgery, and we're continuing to iterate on that, but there's a way to do it, and it works for a lot of people. We have not cracked this code yet. Right? And so I think there's an interesting element of that, you know, we have to be like, why isn't this working? And how do we make it work?
That's right.
And I think you're probably open to when things don't work. I think some people are stuck in tradition. They're like, this is how we can't implement a new idea because it's how it works good enough.
Right.
But good enough we could do more. And I think breaking down a system that kind of works is hard for people. Like, well, we could just keep doing it this way. But I think it's like, you have a situation where I'm new, I don't know what I don't know, and in my opinion, it's not working well enough. We could just break it. We just break it down.
Break it.
Yeah, like,
At the end of the day, our kids are worth it.
Yeah, like it's
totally.
It's worth rebuilding something to be better for people. And I think a lot of the big orgs are like, oh, this is how things have always been done. And I remember being like, I don't know if tradition for tradition's sakes feels like a prison to be in because doing things how they've always been done, but not understanding why they're being done is a detriment to your community.
Yeah.
And so I think about that all the time. I think I always tell that story about the ham. I think it's the ham.
I
always tell the ham story where it's
that's
like this woman was her mother. This old woman was cooking a ham, and she cuts the ham in half, throws one in the trash, and cooks the other half. And somebody says, "Why'd you do that?" He's like, "I don't know." She was like, "I don't know. That's how my grandmother made turkey." So she's like, "Well, go ask her." So he goes to the grandma. He's like, "Grandma, why do you cut the turkey in half and throw half away when you cook it?" She was like, "I don't know. I just do it because my great grandmother. That's how my mama taught me to do it." They finally go to the great grandma. And the great grandma was like, "Oh, we used to have to cut the turkey in half and throw it out because we didn't have a stove big enough to cook a full turkey."
Wow.
And that wasn't the case anymore. They were throwing out a full turkey. This fun story. It's like it's like, we just thought that was part of the process for making turkey. But now that was 200. I don't know the old grandma, but that was 70 years ago. We got a stainless steel oven. Right? And we're throwing away this turkey. We don't know why. Yeah. We just saw someone else before us do it. And now we're not even reevaluating while we're doing this thing.
Well, there's
that
famous I think it was a Henry Ford quote that said, like, if you hadn't hired me, you'd be building a faster horse. Right? And I think it's really funny. Like, it's really interesting to think about innovation in a sense of you get stuck in, like, what is the margin to sort of just do the thing that we're doing instead of thinking about whether the thing we're doing is actually the thing we should be doing. And I think that's interesting. Did having kids change your view of sort of that community, like your community-based work? And I think it comes in two parts with, you know, both your effort but also your time, right? Like, you look at the world as a way like, wow, I can and should be helping, and then you go, well, I got a lot less time to do that. So, you know, how did you moderate, you know, those things as you were raising kids?
I think that just really, I started ramping up more. I wouldn't take on, it's just capacity, right? Because my main focus was my kids. They're 18 and 21 now, amazing kids. But I wanted to be there for everything they did, especially with their sporting events. So it was all about managing time. Yes, I was still involved in the community, but I wanted to make sure that I did it in a space that didn't limit my access to them. But they're both in college now. I'm actually a full-time empty nester.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because they're back for spring break. and I realized that they ate a lot.
Oh man,
they did.
More than when they left.
It was crazy because when they were out, I missed them to death. So I'm happy they're back, but it was nice having your favorite snacks in the pantry for a while.
The little things you don't even notice.
We used to have leftovers that were still in the fridge after you ate, and I used to keep my favorite snacks kind of tucked away in the back. Oh, they probably listening, so I shouldn't say that. Right?
At least it's recorded.
Misdirection. They're all in their dishwasher.
But now they know where all the hidden stuff is. But yeah, so now that they're out, branching out, doing their own thing, expanding, that gives me more capacity to kind of fill that gap with things. Because, there's a difference between gratification and fulfillment, right? And this, what I feel community work is that fulfillment that kind of gives you that feeling that you're making a difference. So, yeah. So it's like I said, you're doing all right. You're doing all right, and we're keeping doing this. And if you want to just give a quick, if you were going to do like your pitch on City of Promise, tell me what it would be.
Mine?
Oh my God, not a job interview.
Oh my Lord.
Not a review.
No, I think that what we're trying to do, and we talked about this, we talk about this all the time.
Yep.
But it's viewing education as a social issue. And I think what's been really interesting about the work we get to do with kids and families, but also with community folks, and particularly with other organizations, United Way, Ready Kids, Network to Work, and all our partner organizations, is built around this theory that what happens in your world affects how you show up in school, right? And so I think there's this deconstruction of education as merely a school-based enterprise, and we have to have funding modalities and sort of sustainability outside of the buildings where kids spend most of their time. And so when we talk about this, the context is always really interesting to me if we understand that kids spend most of their time out of school. So I think if we start there, we have to invest in the places where the kids are, which is at home, which is in the community, which is with, mentors and tutors and coaches and sort of the external factors have a huge impact on what you walk into the building with, and that largely drives your educational opportunity. So thinking around that and all the great resources that are in Charlottesville, how do we aggregate those around the families who can benefit the most from them, right? And so I think what's been interesting for me is, I think that it becomes a thing that kind of touches all of the bits and pieces of the things that we talk about, either, sort of socially or politically. Is it housing? Yeah. Is it safety? Yes. Is it food? Yes. It's all of the stuff. And so I think what's been cool for us is to try and build an apparatus whereby we can tap into people who are financial experts. We can tap into people who are housing advocates. We can tap into people who can, get cars and get jobs. And so but then you learn it's sort of a huge enterprise that is also bound by kind of political appetite, right? And so, trying to think at a really high level, how do we move some of these things down the road, with the full, understanding that we need all of these great partners to do it. And so, that's a lot of my job, is trying to, bring people into the big tent, and keep them there because we need it.
That's right.
We need it, and we need all the, surrounding myself with people smarter and more capable and qualified than me is sort of what is going to end up on my tombstone. And so the success of this enterprise is sort of how good we are at that. And there's a lot of those people in town. And so we're going to keep moving and shaking.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this town. There is. It's even though it's a 10 square mile radius, there's a lot of people that want to do good. So yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And again, just like, leaning into the, ton of intellect in the university and in the nonprofit space. And it's trying to build that in a way that it outlasts me and us and the whole thing, I think is really really interesting and important. Let me ask you one thing. If you were telling yourself, not at 19, maybe at 19,
yep.
What advice would you give yourself with regards to sort of, things you knew, things you didn't know, things you learned along the way?
Yeah, if I was going to go back to my old self, I would just say, don't put off anything that you want to do. I mean, because I'm 47 now, and I look at the time that I've spent just thinking about doing something, right?
Okay.
And contemplating it versus jumping out and just being uncomfortable with it.
Okay.
I think that uncomfort is growth. So I'd probably say just go out there, and if you have something that's on your mind, if you have a goal you need to achieve, stop mulling it over. Get into it and figure it out. Just like you just said, go get into it, get in the weeds, get uncomfortable and figure it out and learn and do it. So yeah, that's probably it. And yeah, probably not eat so much snacks. And not hit the gym a little more.
Not during spring break.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your advice to young you?
I would say that it was probably something about not needing to have all the credentials or be ready. So because it's something I think that I do have. I am a anything's possible person. Yep. Not a what's probable person. So right. I've mentioned before, I'm definitely tuned into like anything's possible, and we need to be preparing for those contingencies, even if they're unlikely. So I think I would say something about, not needing to have all the pieces together to jump, right. to risk, to do the thing. Because I think I do a lot of planning, internal monologue planning, external write it down planning. What if it rains and I know we're already inside? Okay. And I think just jumping and going for it would have been super helpful to me as a young person. Yeah.
One thing I'm trying to do now is celebrate the small victories. Because sometimes I'll have my vision board, right? I'll have my goals, but there's a lot of little things that's happened and along the path to get to the achievement that I want to get to. And sometimes I miss out on the fact that, hey, I did this thing right here, right? I got this little small thing accomplished. So I am trying to step back and reflect a little more and try to be thankful and appreciative of every little thing along the path, instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm not there yet. I haven't hit this goal yet." No, but I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm still evolving. Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
What would you tell your little you?
Yeah, let me see the little Price. What the little Price got to say?
Would tell myself that I like yours. I think mine's a flavor of that. It's like nobody knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Right?
So you feeling like that doesn't make you any less?
Yeah, and I think that again, you learn that as a parent, where like. You just walk out of the hospital with a person.
They let you have a whole person.
They just let you. They just let you go.
Right. No manual.
You don't have to do anything. You watch like some 1980s videos, and they're like, "All right, you're ready. You're ready to raise a human being.
Give it food and let it sleep."
Like, okay, right. So it's that. I think it's like the embracing that of just like what is your ability to figure it out, and then that there's no right. Or it's like the virtue of doing it right or doing it wrong or evaluating it consistently is sort of a weird facade. And I think it's helpful growing up in an era where that was harder to do. I mean, I do believe this, that I think kids now it's difficult because you were marinated in an era where you were always comparing yourself to something else, right? The social media era came into play when I was already in high school. I was, the sort of the Facebook thing for me was like to find people in your dorm. I think I was like 18.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's different. I never knew what you were doing. I never knew what you were doing. I didn't know that there was some sort of like heuristic I was supposed to be moderating myself against. It was, for me, it was like hip hop culture, but it was like just what you could find on like BET or MTV at any given time. It wasn't this constant reinforcement of like, oh, that's cool or that's different or that's whatever. It was just like, before Kanye went crazy. That's basically like that,
Kanye.
Right. That was sort of my like
Oh my goodness.
Right. Remember when hip hop? When we used to tell stories? Like anyway, I was thinking about that this morning. But I think it's that. I think it's no one really knows.
Really knows. I would help a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, just be willing to just get out there and do it. And it's okay to fail, right? Because you learn from it. You galvanize. Yeah. It's okay.
And there's this other thing for me too that I think that. We've had these conversations in meetings, sometimes verbally and sometimes quietly, but like if you're thinking about a thing or feeling a thing, someone else probably is too. Like say it. Say that, right? Like say it, right? Because there's likely someone else in there too who's like, I was waiting for you to launch that or whatever the case may be, And so I think there's that too of the bravery that comes along with, being convicted in the thing that you think to be right and being able to stand in that, I think is really important, certainly for young folks. What are you doing over there?
You want me to texting Charles?
Come on. Come on, Charles. I'm trying to work here.
I know. I was like,
get your BPN business off my show.
I was like, oh my God, I hate reading stuff. Know your limits.
Know your limits. What well, Shawn, let me ask you this. What is what's for you? I mean, what are you looking forward to into the end of, sort of into the spring and into the summer? Is there any events coming up, things that are happening or anything particularly exciting that you're is circled on your calendar?
As of right now, just loving March Madness.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Getting ready.
I'm so excited.
Greatest time of the year.
I'm staying in the moment right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying because the world's crazy. If I start branching out 4 or 5 months from now, I'm like, oh no, I'm in my happy place. What say? Protect your peace, retain your joy. Right. So I'm just
reclaim your time.
Yes, I'm reclaiming my time. I'm enjoying March Madness. What comes? I am planning some empty nester trips, right? I got
Yes.
some couples, so we're supposed to be going to Costa Rica and then going to Panama right after that. So yeah,
Wow.
I want to do stuff.
so that gives me some
You do
things
like to travel.
to plan on, doing. But right now, I'm one day, 1 month at a time.
Yep.
I know that's right.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
What about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm trying to think. I was planning to go to New Orleans in June, but I don't know if I'm going. I haven't bought a ticket, but my family's going, and I told them I would go with them.
Just because?
No, just because I don't know. I don't know what they're planning. I don't know.
yeah.
They said they were going. I say, okay, well, give me your plane details, and I'll buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And I'll stay with you. I said, I'm really looking forward to that. I do a lot of summer traveling. Just my sister, we go to New York, we go to Richmond for their watermelon festival. I love a lot of festivals in Richmond. So super excited for the summer.
Yeah.
It's also slower in nonprofit. Either you gonna make your goal or you not.
Right. by the time May comes around, you're like, well.
If you don't got it.
The summer can't come soon enough anyway.
If you don't got it in April, I don't know about June.
Yeah.
Virginia right now, I mean, what did we just get? We got
Yeah.
86 degrees,
Yep.
then we got 32 degrees, then we got rain, we got a tornado warning that closed schools.
That
Did
is
the
nuts.
tornado touch down?
Didn't
No.
I don't know. And
I mean, not here.
But yet we may even have snow. So it's
There's
like,
more snow? Cool.
who knows?
I'm telling you.
Who knows?
Fake spring.
Yeah.
Fake
You
spring
did call
Fake
it.
spring is crazy, and I told you.
That 80-degree weather really changed my life. I was like,
And then I just took it away.
no, I was like, literally, I brought my shorts out.
Oh, you
my
changed the
arms
whole
out.
wardrobe.
I was
say
sitting on the
never.
porch. I was sitting on the porch. I was like, oh, the day's long. The time done jumped.
Yeah.
And then it started freezing in a tornado.
In a day,
I was so annoyed. I'm still annoyed.
40-degree drop in a matter of hours. So yeah, welcome to March in Virginia.
It's true.
That's what March Madness is about.
That's March Madness.
That's what they mean, March
Nicely
Madness.
done. Nicely done. Well, cool. Well, look, thanks for hanging out with us. An hour goes by quick.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
quick.
this is great.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Hey, late notice, but I'm here.
That's
right?
it. I'll
It's
give
still
you a
fun.
whole 2 days next
That's
time.
it.
I promise.
As Celie said, but I'm here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, look, big thanks to Shawn. If you guys have ideas for the show, want to get in touch with us, again, check us out at United Way Stifel, at City of Promise, or the inbox is open, Envision at UnitedWayStifel.org. Also, let us know who haven't we talked to yet. Who's left? Is anyone out there?
Who's left? Who's next? Go.
We need to get, what do we commit to? At least 100 more episodes.
Yeah, that's what we
gotta,
committed to.
We got to fill the calendar. We get support on the show, of course, from all of you guys. So if you like what you hear, share this with your friends, your colleagues, your family, your enemies. Subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. We are here, there, and everywhere. New episodes every week. And again, best way to support us is consider making a contribution. City of Promise, United Way, our great local nonprofits is how we continue doing community-based work. And of course, this show. Big thanks to our friend, sponsor, supporter of the Jefferson School Foundation, that is the proud owner of the Jefferson School City Center, where education, innovation, and community engagement come together, jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. For Shawn and Marky, this is Price. Go Who's.
Peace. Go.
We'll see you next week.
Ooh.